name is Judith Stevenson and I work at the UCL Institute for Women's Health. So by way of introduction, I'll just explain briefly what Seven is. It's a documentary play performed as a reading, which means that the readers will read from a script to tell the stories of 7 women.
I took part in Seven because I felt it was really important that senior men from UCL did some very active things during International Women's Week. And Seven itself is very powerful, and I was very taken when I watched the NATO Generals version. That was also an all-male cast, and I thought it would be a really good and important thing to do within UCL.
At first I was hesitant about men voicing these women's stories, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought that it was important that men get involved in these issues. I think that the audience that came to Seven were predominantly women, and many of the people that came to many of the presentations that we did for International Women's Day were women. And clearly there needs to be a space for women to talk and share their experiences, but it's quite clear that a lot of the time men are the problem, and if men are the problem, they need to be engaged in finding a solution.
These are real-life stories about oppression, powerlessness and violence, but also about power, hope and activism. All but one of the women portrayed tonight are alive. Today they're living activists.
Well, for me it was a very different experience, and I think what I learned really is that I had never really thought through, I'd never really immersed myself in what it must be like to be a woman subjected to such terrible treatment and circumstances.
So Seven was created in 2007 by 7 playwrights and has now been performed in 32 countries by quite different sets of readers, ranging from university students to NATO generals and a couple of famous names on the way like Meryl Streep.
The play itself is a very powerful play in the way it represents the women's voices throughout the world. I mean, my character was a Northern Irish Labour activist, so not some of the more typical stereotypes of what you think about in terms of oppressed women.
So each reading is unique, and tonight's reading is about voicing the women's stories through UCL's most senior men. We thought this might jolt our minds perhaps and challenge us to think again about the way society sees women, and also to think about the role that UCL can play through its leadership and its academic influence to improve the lives of women internationally.
I don't know what it is to be silent. I must all the time defend my rights. You do not have the same as I have between my ears, I tell them. If you discriminate against me for being poor or being a woman, I'm going to discriminate against you for being stupid.